her an opportunity to make it happen and to be consistent with the spirit of the order, in that he gets a time every week to talk to his kids. Now she's in the area where she's got a willful violation, because at this point she's saying, okay, so at first I didn't know how to get him in contact with the kids every week, but now that I do know, or now that I'm being given the opportunity to find out, or, it's possible for me to figure this out and continue with the provisions of the order, I'm still not going to do it. And so now we're so the letter and just waiting for a response for her was so that she could, we're essentially giving her enough rope to hang herself with. It's like, you're supposed to follow this order. We understand that you haven't been able to up until now. So here's how we can follow this order. So let's discuss how we make this happen. She's not doing it.
Okay.
And so now it's going from, I couldn't follow the order because I didn't know, to I'm not following the order because I don't want to.
And that probably is going to be her. So,
and that's not a good position to take, to not follow a court order because you don't want to. I would never advise anyone to take that position. That is a bad place to be in.
Absolutely.
And so all of the language in the verified petitioner rule of show cause just goes with that, or just draws out for the court what exactly is going on, what the violation is, why this court can do something about it, and what we want. And ideally, we want him to be able to have the time. Now, when we enforce time provisions with an order, it can be a little tricky for the court on how to do it, because we enforce multiple provisions of orders, and sometimes it's very easy. Like if you have a support order and someone's not paying,
right,
then the remedy is easy. It's like, okay, you're in arrearage for support of say $2,000. You got to pay them the $2,000 in the next 30 days or just whatever the court's going to do. That's easy. But when you say, okay, this guy's supposed to have a phone call every week with his kids, he has not had a phone call with his kids since before he was incarcerated, and that was February, right?
Right.
Okay, and so how do we make up the time? And so we're going to be asking for some kind of arrangement where that time can be made up. I just don't really know whether that's going to be realistic to do.
I got you.
But yeah, but we are going to make the request. But the most important request is that we want the calls to begin again going forward.
Okay, so these papers are going to be filed as soon as you get that copy from Ramon. Is that what you're waiting on?
Right, and so all he has to do is take a look at what's been written, and if everything is correct, then he just has to sign the there's a page or a line for his signature on the verified petition. And so he's just got to sign that before a notary, and then mail me that page.
Okay.
I don't need him to send me back the whole packet, because I can just print that out again, attach my signatures to it, and then prepare everything for filing.
So
I just need him to.
What I'm looking at here is a rule to show cause per child. Again, 2 have to be signed and notarized to make sure he gets both children.
No, for the verified petitioner rule. So this is where it kind of gets a little weird. So we've got 2 motions for leave of court, but for the verified petition, we're only going to need to file one. And the reason for that is because once you get into a violation of an order, even a custody order where there's technically 2, the violation or the enforcement action gets its own case number.
I got you. Okay,
and so a violation is just going to be the petitioner against the respondent. And so even though it concerns a visitation order for 2 children, the enforcement action is going to be Ramon versus Sabrina. And so that's only going to come down into one action.
Okay, I got you.
And it's going to be given its own case number, and so it's not going to have the same custody or visitation case numbers. But that's just juvenile court is so weird like that. So sometimes they need two, and sometimes they need one, and it can take a while to know when it's one and when it's the other. But
I appreciate you knowing. How about that? I appreciate you knowing, Erin. Okay, so I've got an understanding of this. Now, I want to move on to the next. When I say the next, in my mind, I have to work in phases. And we told you before, we don't want to bombard you with everything. And now I'm ready to move to the next thing. We've got this one solidified. So Sabrina hadn't contacted you at all?
No.
You haven't heard a word from her?
I have not.
So where is the GAL in all of this? She's getting copies of this.
Yes. So when we file the motion, well, she hasn't gotten copies of anything yet because nothing's been filed.
No, but with the papers from Sabrina, she hasn't responded to that about Sabrina not letting the children talk to Ramon. She's not said anything to you about that. I know you sent her a copy.
Yes, and so with the letter that we sent, now I don't know if she's had any conversations with Mother. I don't necessarily think so, because I think that if we had any movement on that, I would have been made aware of it. But again, it's not really her job to advise her. And, quite frankly, I'm happy if she doesn't advise her, because that would be the role of Sabrina's attorney if she had one.
Yes.
And so if Angela was calling her saying, oh, you really need to let Dad speak with the kids, then again, that would be the actions of an advocate for her, not necessarily an advocate for the children.
And that's what she has been, an advocate for the mother, which is what I have not understood.
Well, yes, but that's what I'm saying, is that if she had been advising her to have the kids call Ramon, or, allow Ramon to see the kids or respond to my letter or anything, then that would be a role of advocacy on her part. And the fact that I'm not seeing it is actually a preference of mine, because then that means that whatever she's done in the past, and again, I'm not going to dispute any of that, but that means that for right now, I am not seeing her advise Sabrina, which again, I'm fine with, because if we want to give Sabrina enough rope to hang herself, I don't want Angela to try to dig her out.
Okay. Okay. And I appreciate that. Okay. So, excuse me. The next thing, and this is, I'm going to send you, and I, like I said, I have to work in phases. And all of this stuff is going to be in your packet, Ms. Barr.
Okay.
I'm going to send you an audio today, tomorrow. But I want you to pay close. It's a 45-minute audio. Pay close attention, please, to the end of the audio to hear what the detective says about the mom, Sabrina. Okay? Pay close attention, because that's an audio, and this is someone who is a detective. Okay? CPS Stidham was, Ramon told her about Sabrina wanting him to pack his clothes and to wait outside, because the child had told Sabrina he wanted to see his dad. And he told a CPS worker about this. So my next step is to get that 45-minute audio to you.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Stidham has never spoken to the GAL. She still to this date has never talked to any of Ramon's witnesses, not one.
Okay, and is Miss Stidham the detective who is involved, or is she the CPS?
She is the CPS worker, and I'm going to put all of this in the letter, okay? Dr. Zeta called the CPS on the guy that Sabrina's living with, who is on the Child Protective Registry, and none of the doctors, like I said, have spoken to the GAL. So once you get a chance